Hello, hello, hello. Guess what? We are truly, truly, truly live this time. How about that?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Welcome, everybody. That was just a little icebreaker, an inside joke. If you didn't join us last week, we had an entire 10-minute show alone. We did not go live. We were live with ourselves. And about 9 minutes in, Trent was like, matter of fact, I saw the look on your face. I knew something was going on, but I never thought we're not live. He was like, hey, I don't think we live.
That's fun.
so, so here we are. You make a mistake once or twice, then you learn to check it the third time
See that
around,
mistake.
hopefully.
That mistake turned into a jewel. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah, yeah. As I was telling you, I've listened to it about 4 times and man, got something out of it every time. And that's the beauty of this. And that's why I say, and I try to make sure that people understand just because, and I'm sure I speak for both of us on this,
Right.
just because we're here on this side of the screen doesn't mean that we've not had to do the work or that we have to continue to
Continue,
work.
continuously. Yep.
So I've listened to it, and I actually put a post out there about it that it's such a blessing to get a blessing from your very own podcast. Like to go back and listen and have things speak to your spirit and your soul and your healing process. Man, that was one of the most beautiful things I felt in a long
You know
time.
that normally happens when you're actually delivering from the heart. You're delivering from a good place.
Yeah,
It's not scripted, and you're giving it very organically.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's pretty good, man.
Right. I agree. It was as I was telling you, I came this close to just like saying, I can't do this tonight. Maybe we can just change it till next Tuesday. And as I was running up the stairs to get everything set up, out of breath, I was just like, man, I don't know how I do this. Like, I just don't know sometimes how I pull it through because um, I was sharing with Trent that I'm just not, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I feel like I'm coming down with, unfortunately, a cold, but and then I had some other things just that I've been working on, and so I'm just burnt out. I'm burning the fuel on both ends. But here we are. I ate, feel a little better, drink me some good water, and got my water here. So here we are talking again about our emotional. I guess I would say intelligence. IQ, I guess is a word, but learning to effectively, basically express our emotions. And if you did not get a chance to listen to part one, and after listening to this one, please, please, please go back and listen. Tune into that one and do your work. Take what registers to your spirit and do the work. Do the work. So, Brother Trent, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Great, great,
Kind of
great,
easy
great.
today. It's my off day from the gym, more treatment and everything. So
Mm-hmm,
kind
mm-hmm,
of relaxing the muscles and did a little yoga in bed.
mm-hmm,
So I'm kind of
mm-hmm,
relaxed.
mm-hmm. Have you had ever heard of Hot Works? Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Really?
I
Have
have.
you ever been there?
No, I've heard about it though.
Really? Really?
Yeah, actually, over at a medical fitness center, they actually offer that as well. So
Okay.
yeah,
Heard some great things about it. I'm actually thinking about giving it a trial run. So I've
be
heard some really great things about it.
yeah, be prepared for it because it's gonna get a little steamy. It's gonna get a little hot.
Yeah, I thought about that, especially with the hot flashes. How would I how would I do that? But
It's gonna get a little hot. Yeah,
yeah, but I imagine after a while, it may be good for me to
yeah.
endure.
I mean, it will be. It would be, but like it's almost like hot yoga. I had
Mm-hmm.
to work myself into hot yoga. I've been yoga now for 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
started from the real wheelchair. I thought it was asinine to even do it back then for the wheelchair, but they were right. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up loving it. But
Right.
hot yoga, I had to actually work my way into it. There's different phases to it, but
Mm-hmm.
hot yoga is actually very beneficial for the entire system.
Yeah. What I
Stretches.
heard about the hot works, and you guys will move on. But what I heard today that really struck my interest is that you're in. this kind of little box by yourself, and you get to do your own thing. So, I would just imagine me going in there, sitting down, acting like I'm in another
Yeah.
world, basically. So, meditation, yoga, and exercise at the same time, and sweating out toxins.
I
So I
think you'd do great with it. I think you'll do great with it.
may try it. I think they have like a free trial, something that you can at least try to see if you like it, and
Right.
that and Stretch Zone. Have you heard of Stretch Zone?
Great. So yeah, I have a friend of mine over in Atlanta. She does a lot of stretch zone stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. So
similar to yoga as well.
yeah, cool. So, you guys, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. B2G Unity TV. We're promoting that we're better together and that relationships matter. The one starting with the relationship you have with yourself. So, we're all about helping you build and maintain healthy professional and personal relationships, starting with, again, with the one with yourself. Um, I want to, before we move forward, and we're going to hopefully help me with this, keep this under an hour tonight.
Gotcha.
Um, but I want to go over our housekeeping things. I just want to remind you guys of our trash can baby. I cannot say this enough because we are, in my opinion, we are we're operating on autopilot mode, cruise control, not really thinking for ourselves, and for the most part, I don't think we realize this. I don't think we realize how often or how much we kind of just go with the flow and what we know,
Right.
regardless if it's good or bad for us, it's what we know. So that works for us because change is, I'll speak for myself on this part, it has been one of the most difficult things to do, but also one of the most rewarding things, especially when you get to a place where you feel like you have reached yourself, you have come to yourself. And doesn't mean that I've come to my perfect self. I realize and accept my imperfect self, my strengths, my weaknesses, and so forth. So we ask you to move your trash can, and I'm going to ask someone, if you did this lately, please share your story with us. Again, it is so important for me, for us, to hear that we are making a difference in your life as it relates
Absolutely.
to change, transformation. Um, because if you change, then you give someone else permission to do so. Because I don't know if we've talked about this lately, Trent, or if we've even said this.
Hmm.
When you change, people are going to do one or two things.
Hmm.
One of these, they're going to change with you, or they're going to move out your life.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, they're going to exit. You're going to be like, "Where is everybody?"
Exactly.
Um, So move that trash can. And in doing so, what we believe that will happen is you'll find yourself going back to the location that you moved it from. And then allow that to simmer for a moment. Why am I going back to the place where I know that I physically moved my trash can from? What
Right.
else are you doing in your life on autopilot mode, on cruise control? Because again, it's what you know, it's what you become accustomed to. It's your thing, and this is how you do it. So let it work for you. It may sound crazy, but again, there was a time where I would change furniture around just because I wanted to get myself, especially me, because I can get zoned in so much so till it's detrimental for me. So that for me was part of my healing process. And I did it often. I don't so much now move the trash can, and I don't really move a lot of things now. But again, it helped me in my seasons of growing. So move your trash can. I cannot say that enough. Move your trash can. The other thing that I want to say briefly is I want to remind you guys of our profile, of our assessment that we offer. Trent's an introducer in this. I'm gonna pick on him tonight. I don't know why. I just feel led to do so. I remember when he took it, and the first time he read it, this big old man cried.
It was refreshing, man. It was very
I was
refreshing.
gonna say, I was gonna say, he said it was freeing, that
It
it
was.
felt like, and I so understood stand this. Because I remember when I first saw it, read it, dug myself into it, I was like, wow, it helped me understand me, all of my kooky ways, all of those things. It was me on paper,
Right.
and with words I did not have to write, but questions I answered. So
Exactly.
I won't get too much into that. I'm just going to say, if you guys find yourself feeling stuck, or if you just want to find out more about yourself, I know there are free ones out there that you can take, but I'm telling you guys, this one here is worth the money. I would not be where I am today emotionally had I not been introduced to that.
Yeah, it's definitely life changing.
It
No,
is
sir.
life changing. And it's beautiful. I've had people that I've given the assessment to, and I've did the free sessions with them. I've blessed a lot of people in this. And I sit back and I watched, not all of them, I've
Right.
watched many of them blossom,
Right. But
blossom
one
again.
thing I would suggest, if you guys are not prepared to face yourself, don't take it.
Yeah.
The toughest thing in life, man, is getting over yourself. The
Hmm.
only hump it is yourself to get over. That's the toughest thing you can actually get over. Getting over the hump
Mm.
of you.
Wow.
So, if you're not ready for it, leave it alone.
Right. Right. I totally agree. So we have a comment, and then we'll get moving on. It's Mr. Slash
What up,
greeting and
Slash?
good evening, Miss Tam G and Mr. Epic. Hey, Slash, how are you?
What's going on,
Good to
Slash?
have you back. You had some great comments last week, man. I was been listening to this show. I don't know if you just logged in or started listening, but I've gone back and listened. I know 4 times. It may be a little bit more, but I've listened to that show, and I'm telling you, I got something every time. Matter of fact, I started to post one of your comments when I shared the show today, but I thought I better
He
get.
was actually going in, man. I was like, man,
He was, yeah,
he was
yeah,
he was
yeah.
on the mic.
Slash was a blessing last week, and he usually is, but you were a little deeper in the ocean last week, so thank thankful. Um, yeah, those were some butterfly nuggets that I needed, my soul needed. So we're back with, well, you go. I'm sorry. Anything catch us up? What's going on?
Oh no, nothing. Just continues working out on this recovery and preparing myself for this thing that we're actually getting ready to do. I think it's gonna be like late April, early May, something like that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we'll have some more information. Brian and I are gonna works on Sunday a little bit on this to kickstart it, and you guys will tell you more about that. Not next Tuesday because I don't think we're going to air next Tuesday unless something changes. But we'll tell you about the webinar that we have, 2 webinars that we have coming up actually, and so we'll have more information on that. Um, I wasn't going to mess with Nick tonight, but since I see him out there, let's do this before we head in.
Let's see
Nick,
you, Nick.
call in with a question here. Let me see, can I get this thing going before we get too
There
deep in
she
the
go.
conversation?
There she go.
Whatever. See, that's just a sign we should do it because he's signed in.
There she go. So
Yeah. So you give him some meat while I see if Nick, if you heard me, call in the way that we tried last week.
welcome to the B2G Unity TV network. That's Butterfly Evolution and Taylor Kennedy Media combined for better TV together. And actually, if you missed part one,
Okay, hold on.
uh,
Can you hear him?
not yet.
Not yet. Okay, hold on 1 second.
So if you guys missed part one, you guys could go back on demand right there on your Roku channel, Roku Stick, Roku Network via b2gunitytv.com. Strolling on demand 24/7. Catch part one. You guys missed a treat if you missed it.
Well, hold on. And you cannot say something. Nick, can you say something one more time? Okay. Did you hear anything, Trent?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, hold on here a second. And I promise y'all, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes on this. But I tell you, I am going to get this working. So Maybe not tonight, but you guys, we're gonna make this happen. Um, Now if I could just find where I put him, I might work it tonight, but I don't know where the call just went to. That's interesting. Now he can't hear you. Okay. So, but you can hear me, Nick. I'm assuming so because you said you can hear me. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. Then I won't try to mess around with it. I'm going to do a test show with you and some others, and we'll figure this out. Thank you, though. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, wow. Okay. I've tried it a different way this week, but okay. So let's read the comments and then we'll get diving into this. Did I interrupt you saying, did you have anything?
Now I was just telling them where to go to catch part one, right there on the Roku channel via b2gunitytv.com, streaming on demand 24/7. So you're bound to catch it.
Okay. And remember that's b2gunitytv.com, you guys. I'm going to put it out there so that you will be able to see that for a second. And remember, you can go over, as Trent said, and watch all the shows there that, well, I won't say all. We do have, Trent does have some uploaded, but you can also watch on demand right there while we're live.
You could do
As
it on demand or you could do it live as well. So when you see the
right,
live button, that means it's in programming. So it's actually programming. So you'll catch Tammy Gator, you'll catch Trent Williams. They're streaming it 24/7.
right, right. Okay, so let's dive into this. Just to recap, did you have any recaps that you want to get out, or you want me to go ahead and move into mine from part one?
No, just moving to it. That's fine.
Okay, so let me just, I want to recap and kind of tell you. So, expressing emotions effectively, part two is what we're going to do tonight. And to bring you up to date, this topic was inspired by my granddaughter, and I'm going to be brief with the story. And again, you guys, if you missed part one, go back and listen to it um, after hearing this one. But my granddaughter made this comment to me because I was helping her brother and allowing her to do her thing alone. They both had remote control cars, they were new cars for them. And because she's older, I thought she was okay. And it appeared that she was. And so I spent my time with her brother. And she was like, after a while, she was okay, but after a while, she was like, Grandma, what about me? And I believe she actually said, What about Consoli? I wasn't quite sure on that, but she said, Grandma, what about me? And she was in tears. She was hurt. She was feeling left out. And so, of course, I made sure that I smoothed that moment over by addressing her feelings for her healing, right? I just didn't want her to be in that space. But what was important to me, even the more, and let me back up a little bit, because she's older, she's she feels some kind of way often, because you guys know how we do with little babies. Anytime there's a little baby, even though they're all babies, we kind of go straight
Right.
to the smallest, and that's the one that we kind of pay more attention to, and understandably so, because we think they need more assistance. But really, a tiny baby just needs to be fed, little love, little hug here and there. The older they get, the more they need. Even people, the older people get, sometimes I think the more that they need, especially if they're not doing the work, if they're not healing from their past experiences, childhood experiences, and things like that. They bring those things along. So, the interesting part in this, or what brought us to here, is I thought about what if we as adults learned to ask or to express those things that we need in this case, if we felt left out, if we felt like, if our feelings had been hurt or anything, because often we don't say it. We assume whatever it is we want to assume. And sometimes those assumptions turn into pain because we've left this situation or situations to our own demise. And sometimes that is one of the worst things we could do because they're coming from our own distorted perception, um, past trauma that we've not healed from. So if you have this spirit of rejection that's not healed, in most times you're going to, whether someone means it or not, that's going to be the first thing you see. And so it just put me in this space and this place of thinking about us and our emotions. And if we did this, what would it happen? What would happen to our relationships? Would they? We talked earlier about maintaining healthy relationships. Would they be healthier relationships? Would more marriages work? Would more relationships be at the top of the game as it relates to people connecting? So that's where it came from. I'm gonna give it to you as I put the definition that we used last week, all still part of our just recapping a little bit of part one. You're gonna have to go back and listen to the bulk of it yourself. Um, anything?
I can't see it.
Now I said anything from you. I know I said a lot
Oh
there.
no, no, no. You're
Okay,
good.
so this was probably one of my favorite, I guess, and the reason why, without conscious thought. So, a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, and or relationship with others. And I wouldn't stop it with others. I would say our relationship with ourselves as well. But what's important here, you guys, is a natural instinctive state of mind. Instinctive means without conscious thought. So you're kind of out, you're not in control of your thoughts when you are when you don't have the ability to effectively express your emotions. And that's when and where we don't just lose the relationship with others. More importantly, we become disconnected with ourselves, because in that phase I think we are out of control, fearful sometimes, full of unforgiveness, not with just others, but ourselves as well. So that was one of the things that I wanted to bring from last week. Anything on that, my brother?
Yeah, when we talk about effectively communicating and expressing ourselves, nine times out of ten, when we can't effectively communicate with others, we're struggling with something within. It's something we can't seem to get
Mm-hmm.
past, some hump we can't seem to get over, and that hump is normally ourselves. Once we address ourselves and deal with it, we could actually then, only then, can we express ourselves to others. I used to have a hard problem with that, a very difficult time with expressing myself. I would always avoid things and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
because I had to address my issues with
Mm-hmm.
myself. But
How
I
long?
find that, go
How
ahead.
long ago would you say, in number of years? How long ago has it been since you were able to, since you transformed from that?
Honestly, to be honest with you, to effectively communicate with myself, it's actually been 3 years.
Mm. And you know what's interesting about that? You know how long we've been doing what we're doing, and
Yeah.
that's like this journey of transformation and change. I'm telling you guys, it is a daily, and I think I said this last week, it is a daily process. For me, it's a daily experience. So I'm always trying to find out, or taking my thoughts captive, because again, sitting here, it doesn't mean I don't have those thoughts that I have to say. I had one the other day where, last week I talked about the stop sign, like stoplight, traffic light, pulling up and treating my thoughts like, okay, I'm at the stoplight. Is it going to go to yellow? Am I going to slow down here? What is this thought? Am I going to let it go? Am I going to let it stay right here on this red stop sign? Well, I was in my mind and my feelings a few days ago, and I was like, I'm just going to go around this thought right here. Like it wasn't worthy of stopping at the light, doing the
Right.
caution thing. I'm just going to go around it, you know. And it may sound crazy to you guys, but I'm in this season where, if it works for me, I don't care how crazy it looks to anybody. If it works for my spirit and if it feeds my transformation, I'm eating it. Period.
That's,
I'm eating it.
that's the only thing that matters, though, man. That's the only thing that matters. If it works for you, it works for you.
Right.
It's the only thing that matters. But that I was only able to effectively communicate with myself once I got out of my way.
Right.
Once I was able to get out of my way, I was good. But I was communicating with others on another level because I mean that's my gift. That was my passion. I was making a hit on all cylinders. So that's the easy thing for me. This gift is so easy for me. But me, going and giving a great speech and all that stuff, at the end of the day, now I'd be like, wow, I wonder how many people were fed. You know what I'm saying? Like they looking at the bells and whistles that I'm bringing, but I wonder how many people were fed. That's the difference now in this walk that I'm in now. I know I'm feeding. I know they're getting fed. I know
That's
their
because you're
plates
that's
are full.
because you're eating
I know their plates are
the
full.
right food.
Absolutely.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Um, so let's get going. What was another thing that I wanted to bring? Let's do this one. And I keep trying to say this word. Did you guys see this out here? Alexithymia. Remember that word from last week?
No, I can't say that. Let's see. What did you
Okay,
say?
so let me get it back. Alexithymia. Am I saying
Yeah.
that right, you guys? For these teachers and all these people with these big words. Basically, this is what it means. This is a person who has difficulty identifying and expressing emotions. It is not a mental health disorder. People with alexithymia have problems maintaining relationships and social activities. Now, it says here that it's more common in men. And I don't know if I read that part last week. I may have left that out,
I
but
think I think I think you shared that word when I went away for a break real quick.
I don't know, maybe so.
Yeah, because
Um,
this is my first time hearing this.
Really, I thought that you were here. I
I
thought you
find
were
that quite
online.
interesting.
I can see where it could be more common in men because I think women, for the most part, we talk more, we share more. However, I don't think we share all,
Right.
or we don't share those things um, that have deeply scarred us.
Right.
Those wounds of the heart. If we do share them, we kind of smooth them over. We don't get to the
Women,
root
you
of
saying
it.
women, right?
Women. I was making the comment because in looking this up, it says more that this is more common, meaning alexithymia is more common in men. And I was saying this because
Mm,
men don't really share, or I don't. I'm just saying that because that's what I think based on men and what we have learned. Men don't share as much as women. But I
mm,
was saying women do share more, but I don't think we share all or the things that are part of our healing or could be part of our
right.
healing. So, um, the other thing is what causes, we talked about this, what causes unhealthy emotions. Then we're going to move into the solutions that we have for tonight or the topics that we have related to this particular conversation. What causes unhealthy emotions? So for me, you guys, and what we talked about last week, there's so many things that causes us to be in that place where our emotions are unhealthy, and lack of. It's going to be things you don't want to hear for sure. We really think that we love. There's a lot of people. I'll talk about myself. Self love. It's so easy to say, "Oh, I love myself." Da 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 da. But if you want to know if you really love yourself, look in your life and just ask the question, how do I treat myself? How do I allow other people to treat me? How honest I am with myself about my life, about my right now, my past, my present, my future. How honest am I? Unresolved trauma. Let me put some of these on here.
But you know what though? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's hang around that for a second.
Okay, let's go there.
When I know me personally, when I see and when I find a person constantly talking about how much they love themselves,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that truly don't like themselves. Because if you have to verbalize it, something's wrong. Happiness is within, and then it's actually gonna be outward. Folks will see it. You don't have to constantly tell somebody, "I'm happy. Oh, I love me." They're gonna see it. They're gonna see that light.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to be verbalized. They're gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? Though sometimes, like I used to question that as affirmations for myself. Well, I mean, well, keep it inward.
Mm.
Why do you always have to
You're right,
let
because it will show through your actions again how
exactly
how you show up in the world, and how you show
right?
up, how you allow people to show up in your world. You know,
Exactly.
one of you ever been around people who are, what's the word for it? They're so in your face kind of people. There's a word, there's a proper word for it, but these are the type of people, in some cases they're the most insecure people in the world, but they will show up as this badass.
Exactly.
um but really they are just trying to put a some space in between you, themselves and you, because they don't want you to see
Exactly.
what they see, or
Like
what
I've,
they
I've
think they
never
see.
I've never been the type of person. I've never been that guy to express my happiness. I've never outward and just verbalize it to for the world to see. Now you're gonna see this light, and I've been that way even before I transformed. You're gonna see this light.
Mm,
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how happy I am. You're
mhm,
gonna feel it.
mhm,
I don't have to
mm.
convince you that I'm happy because it starts within.
Right, right,
Then it's gonna actually illuminate outward.
right. So I do want to share, and I'm going to be really brief, the story before we go into the next. So we did our part one things. Again, you guys, there was so much from that show. It was really difficult, and if we're not careful, we'll have that same show here tonight, because it was so good. So if you missed it, I cannot say it enough. Please go back and listen to it. We were going to talk about the little child within us. Um, Not going to stay here very long. However, there's something that came to my mind as I was listening to part one, that I just feel led to throw out there and let you do whatever it is you want to do with it. If you were asked to write a letter, however long, 1 page, 2 page, or whatever it is, to someone that you never have to see again, whatever, just, and I'm saying that because sometimes it's really difficult to pour your heart out or your emotions out to people that you have to face daily. And that's your own issue. It's not, most cases it's not about the other person. But if you had to write, if somebody said, tell me about your childhood, what are some of the things that happened, bad, good, what do you think you wished wouldn't have happened? If you had to write a letter about your childhood experience, the way that you perceived life, the things that you bought, that you feel that you bought with you in this adult life, because I made the comment that there is the little child in us is often trying to protect the grown up. And so in ways where we are not able to say, and that's why I want to share this story, what we really mean. Like with Zolly, Grandma, what about me? But the story last week was a story of twins, men, who were both psychologists. One had gone away. So they were twins, always was together, calling, talking, had a great life together, great brothers. One decided to go far away to study, still in the same field, but went away to, I guess, to get the master's doctorate or whatever. And so that, of course, separated them. So they talked daily. They talked the day before their birthday. The one that stayed home with the friends and all that family was supposed to call the brother who went away the next day. The call never came. And mind you, you guys, I said psychologists. So they study people, they study this thing. Well, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but the brother who had went away was already feeling lonely. He was feeling some kind of way because he had left family, friends behind to come and study more in a city where he did not know anyone, didn't have friends or family. But the brother, long story short, the brother who had gone away was sitting waiting for the call on their birthday. Call never came. So in his mind, he came up with this entire story that, okay, well, he's hanging out with his friends. I guess he really doesn't care about me like I care about him, or he would have called, right? So went to bed, get up the next morning, realized that he had not put the phone on the hook. The phone was off the hook all the day before, which is why he did not get the call. He put the phone on the hook and he says, almost instantly, the phone rang and it was his brother. What's going on? Thinking something was wrong. So he explained the story. Well, you didn't call. I just figured you were out with your buddies having, you know, the sad story. Really, that's what it is. My sad story, because I was here sitting alone, basically. And the brother said, I get all that. The brother that was trying to call him the day before on their birthday, I get all that. But if I didn't call you, why didn't you just pick up the phone and call me? Because really, you guys, something could have been wrong. But here is a psychologist, a twin, who had a brother that had not given him a reason to think, well, he doesn't love me like I love him because he didn't call. The healthy emotion should have said, let me call because something's not right here. This is out of the norm. This is out of the norm. So I wanted to share that story because there's so many, and I thought about that story today, actually, while I was listening to the show again, and I wanted to know what would make a psychologist make what would make that his default. Like, why would it be about he must not care about me, whatever? And what I came in my mind, I don't know. I thought about he was in a lonely state. He missed his brother. He was in a place that he did not know people, and he was lonely. But that loneliness was just a feeling. It was one of those feelings that he should have did what I did the other day. I'm gonna go around this. I'm gonna go around this thought, this feeling, because it is not true. I know my brother.
Yeah, I yeah, I could agree with you on that. That he was in a lonely state,
Right. And
but
we have to
some
know where we are. Remember I said
right.
if I'm hangry or if I'm tired, man, the mind can take you there.
I get
The
it, but
emotions can take.
that lonely state triggered something that was unaddressed,
Right. Childhood,
something he did not
maybe something.
address.
Right. Because again, psychologists. But that being said, you guys, that I'm also bringing that up because it does not matter what a person does, what he makes, his title, what he drives, what he wears. We all got some stuff to
We're all human.
uncover. Right. We all have that child in us that is trying to protect us from something that we have not dealt with, that we've not, so that unresolved trauma. I'm really starting to not like the word trauma, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but I feel like if we're not careful, it'll keep us stuck. It'll keep us where we are. You're mighty
Okay.
quiet tonight.
Nah, I mean, I'm just letting you do your thing. But as far as trauma, I mean, to me, it's just a word, and we have to effectively deal with ourselves. And it's going to take more than going to a counselor. It's going to take more than you know speaking with some. Sometimes you have to deal with yourself to get over that hump. Sometimes you
Right,
have to be
because the
honest with
trauma is
yourself.
happening. We said this. I don't mean to cut y'all. Sorry. The trauma. We said this last week. I think the trauma, the traumatic experience has
Right.
happened. It's in the past. It's over. So what you're dealing with is the mark that it left on you, and that
Exactly.
you allowed to continue to manifest and grow. You water it.
Right.
You water that seed with your emotions, with your feelings. You water them when you don't stop and get your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions in check. That is watering your traumatic seed that has been planted in most cases not by you. by somebody else, by something. But Trent's right. You have to take responsibility for that,
Yeah,
and
we
those
have to.
emotions can go wild.
We have to find a way to stop the reset button, to stop the replay button.
Of the traumatic experience.
Exactly. We constantly, like with me, I kept on going back to the replay button, replaying that stuff over and over, bleeding over more women, time and again. And kept pointing outward, it's your fault, it's your fault. Nah, instead of me doing this, I was doing outward. I wasn't doing inward. But I kept hitting that replay button.
What do you think we're looking for when we press the replay button? Because we all do it
An
or have
excuse,
done
an excuse, an excuse.
to not
Well,
deal with.
every time I hit that replay button, I was looking for an excuse. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I don't want to deal with it. I use your word. I was going around it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was going around it. I don't want to deal with this. That was my reason for hitting the replay button because I didn't want to deal with it. Because I knew once I let it play, I was gonna have to face myself along the road at some point. But if I keep on hitting that reset button, just replay, replay, I'm comfortable in that. I'm comfortable in my mess. Very comfortable.
Right. I have a comment out here. Well, one of our, not a comment, but unresolved trauma can make it difficult to name, trust, describe, or understand what you are feeling, making it difficult to have healthy emotions. That's a deep statement. Unresolved, people. And so, again, how is it unresolved if it's no longer happening? The
Right.
actual thing, not meaning that it's not happening inside of you, not meaning that it did not hurt you, but listen to this. Unresolved trauma can make it difficult to name, trust, describe, or understand what you're feeling. We talked about that last week. Sometimes you don't say what you are feeling because you don't know. You can't, you've not quite dissected it enough to understand it. So, how can you express it? Calmly. We find it really easy to express it in anger sometimes, or in angry actions. But to calmly say, Grandma, what about me? Or to your husband, whatever his name is, your wife, or the person you're in a relationship with, what about me? This is how I'm feeling. May not be what you meant, but this is how I'm feeling. What if we said that? What if we did that?
Let's
So,
let, let's get to some. Let's get to the solution of it though. How,
okay.
how do we actually reach that point, right? From my personal experience, and you have to understand that everyone not gonna have tragic moments as I had. But for me to face myself, it was a tragic moment.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Everybody is not going to have,
Everyone's not gonna have a tragic moment like I had.
well, to them, I don't know how to measure trauma for someone else,
Right,
because some people, now yours is deep. It's over the top, but to
right.
some people a flat tire is a traumatic experience.
Yeah, I
No,
get
I'm
that. I get
serious.
it. I
Like
get it. I
really,
get it.
some
I
people
get it.
will have a flat tire, and it's not about the flat tire. It's everything else. Like I can't get a break. Like it's
Right,
everything else that they piled on top of this
right,
flat tire. Same with like, I say this, and I don't want to get off topic, but same when people walk away or go get a divorce or whatever, say I'm out, we're getting a divorce. It's typically not about that last thing that happened. It's
right.
about all the other unresolved things. So
True.
one thing just takes them out. And even that word, a divorce, to some people is people will kill themselves. People have killed themselves because somebody does not want to be with them. So I don't know how to measure the traumatic
I
experience.
get that. I get that. But for me, for my personal experience with coming to terms with myself was very traumatic. When all I had to deal with was myself.
Mm,
I was in a solitude place that I did not create.
hmm.
I had no choice but to do it. So
Now,
it
some
was
people don't know about that place. Briefly, can you tell them?
as far as solitude.
Yeah, the place of solitude. What, like, are we talking about the same place?
Nah, go ahead.
No, what place were you talking
Explain.
about?
Explain.
Huh?
Explain what you mean. I'll try and explain for you.
Meaning when in the hospital?
In the hospital and out of the hospital. So that was different phases of solitude. There were
Okay.
different phases of it. So when you're forced into a situation that you have no control over, you have no choice but to sit and listen to your thoughts. And normally, with your inner thoughts, normally that's God speaking to you.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the solitude. And I know it's different for everyone. But you made me think about my own transformation or transforming life. Um, I spent a lot of time alone. Like I spent
It's a good thing, though, man.
like right because you when you do that and that may not work for some people.
Right.
I know it looks different for everyone. But it does if not as long as I did, there is I think a need for some alone time,
It is.
some meditation, even if it's just meditating where you don't have to just cut everybody off, but daily I think for a while if you just sit with yourself, just sit in the seat of your own soul
And at
often.
the same time, when you're sitting with yourself, you're getting to know yourself. You're going to be very comfortable with yourself. Then you'll become very comfortable with addressing things with yourself,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Once you're comfortable with yourself, you could address those things that you've been running from for years on top of years. And I'm speaking from experience here. I'm speaking from past experiences. I had no choice but to address myself because I was comfortable with myself at that point, very comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is keep talking, Trent. My
So
mom
you
is
have,
trying
you
to get
know,
on the show.
what's that? I'm
My
sorry.
mom, my mom just texted me. I keep trying to get on the show, but I can't. So I'm gonna send it to her.
Good stuff. Good
I'm gonna
stuff.
send it to her.
But you have to be to get the resolution to yourself. You have to get over the hump of yourself, man. Once you get over the hump, and 9 times out of 10, that hump is yourself. Then you can find resolution. But you have to be honest once you get over that hump. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest about your predicament. You got to be honest about your situation. You have to be honest about the situation you found yourself in.
I don't know how to do this. She's gonna have to wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I have here childhood trauma in adults also results in feeling disconnected and being unable to relate to others. Studies have shown that adults that experience childhood trauma were more likely to struggle with, and let me keep going down. Oh, struggle with, where did it go? Many things. I guess I didn't get all of that. Um, but you guys, that's so true. I know from me, especially with the relationships, and that's what I'll go back there because that's what we are all about, building those, building and not just building, because I think we can build them perfectly, like we do well, which means that if we could build them, then we can maintain them,
Right.
because when you're building, you do what it takes.
Yeah.
That's why people end up going walking down the aisle, because two people pretended, or one person pretended that they were okay.
One more time for the people in the back who didn't hear you.
gotta say gotta say that one for again, Trent.
Exactly.
Again, but really, and we've talked about this, that of course somebody's pretending. I say both people are the representative.
Right.
That's who we're talking about. Someone can People represent so well to the point where they walk down the aisle. I had a lady today said things change when you get married. Like,
That's because
okay,
someone was in that relationship was is not honest at all.
right. And it didn't change. Someone is just ignoring because they want to go there.
Or it the
Go there.
reason why it changed all of a sudden, whoever it was took the mask off.
Right. But if you could take the mask off, and I may be saying this different from what you're meaning, but I think we're saying the same thing. If you could take the mask off during the dating phase. Meaning, if you can help, if you can express yourself healthy, and I would assume you are doing pretty well, not perfect, for
Right.
someone to say, "Hey, I want to marry you," and for you to say, "Hey, I want to marry you back." Um, if you can do it, if we can do it during that time, then we can do it afterwards, and we can do it. Period.
Right.
We choose to. We choose to. The other part of this, we're more likely to struggle with controlling emotions and and they have heightened anxiety, depression, and anger. Now, y'all listen. That's most of that's almost everybody. So I'm gonna read that again. Childhood trauma in adults also results in feeling disconnected. So people feeling disconnected and being unable to relate to others. We don't relate to people anymore. I'm telling you. Studies have shown that adults that experience childhood trauma were more likely to struggle with controlling emotions and had heightened anxiety, depression, and anger. I'm not saying anything about medication, but it is alarming to me of how many people, including our young children, who take medication to wake up, to stay up, and then to go back to bed.
Right.
I'm not saying that there's not some issues, but I am saying that it should not be 99% of population.
Yeah, it shouldn't take medication to adjust and alter your personality and your feelings and your emotions. I find that once you do a cleanse of yourself within, I'm telling you, man, once you do a cleanse, you're not gonna need no medication.
Yeah.
Once you do
So
once you do an authentic cleanse, we're talking about an
maybe
authentic
it's an
cleanse.
emotional cleanse. Maybe we can call it
Exactly, that's part of that. Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Angela and I were talking today. You guys, if you've been listening, you remember Angela. We were talking today because she was an ice eater as well. And
Mm,
if you know me or anything about me, you all, I was addicted. Ice was crack to me. Ice was crack. I actually had a change of heart for people, or better understanding for people who um, were addicted, had a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, because I said, I can't get off of ice. And I'm telling you, people used to say, oh, you're iron, it's this, it's that.
right.
When I healed, and it happened seemingly to me like suddenly, but of course it didn't, because I can remember, you've heard the story of me pulling up at Sonic, and they would bring me my ice out there and say, see you tomorrow, and I'm like, what the,
Wow.
I was addicted. Like, I would go and get 2 3 Route 44 cups of ice, put them in the freezer, and go to bed, sit it next to my bed, only for it to melt
Why
throughout the
why
night.
why did you feel like you needed that like that?
I think that we have these little addictions. It was I was messed up. I want to say another word. I was an emotional wreck.
Wow.
I really was. I'm telling, and you, I didn't see how bad I was until I saw how good it could get. When you think, I don't know if that makes sense, but the more I grew, like I look back now, and I was like, I'm surprised I have my right mind. you know and I don't blame anyone, because again, I kept it living in me. Nobody, I kept watering it, like you
You
said.
know
I
what?
mean, the excuses.
You know what though, man? Peace is so easy to acquire when you think about it. Peace is very easy to acquire. It takes two things to acquire peace: discipline and consistency.
Those are two difficult things right there. Say it again for the people in the back.
Peace is so easy to acquire. It takes two things: discipline and consistency.
Mm.
Like, I wanted to be better. I wanted to be better. I was consistent on purpose because this is what I wanted. I was disciplined on purpose because this is what I wanted. And I wanted what I was so inspired by and moved by. I wanted to motivate by the feeling. I wanted others to feel that. They knew Trent. They knew the coach Trent, but the motivated Trent, that's on a whole different level. That's a
Mm,
whole different situation. I wanted to give that feeling to everybody. Not wanted, I want to, so they could feel that. So when I walk into the room, not even walking into the room, when you see me, I want you to feel it.
mm,
And there is no doubt in my mind that you guys out there now see that light every single week, twice a week, because
mm.
it's a different thing. It's on a whole different plateau. It's on a whole different realm.
For you, how would you describe or rate your emotional health or healthiness during the time where you felt like you were feeding the people but not really being fed?
I was mostly during that time I was feeding an ego. They didn't know. I was feeding my ego because the more people showed up, it would feed my ego. The more people gave into my bullshit, it was feeding my ego. So it wasn't about them, it was about me.
And you know, I used to always say to you, and we're getting off a little bit here, but this is important, as and it does relate to this topic behind the scenes. It does. But I remember, and I don't know if you remember this picture of, and I believe you might have been either it was Atlanta or New Orleans, and you were standing up at this desk, and there were just women, women, women. And I used to always tell, and there was one woman there in the front row, a girl, whatever, and she was looking at you in this mesmerized state,
Right.
um, as a lot of them were, but this particular one had this look of if lust is if lust is
That's
sin,
funny.
she's going to hell. She can't even make up for it.
Right.
But I was telling, I remember telling you that women, I wish men would um, talk more and be more authentic and be leaders in this transformation thing,
Right.
or owning your stuff, becoming one, taking control of your emotions. If more men would get to that place, it would make such a difference. Why? Because women will follow you. Women will
Absolutely.
follow a man sometimes if they don't have their shit together. But if you get one that is talking the talk, walking the walk, and you can see their light as well,
Right.
man, a woman will follow you.
Right.
She will listen. And maybe not all of them, but most of them will be changed and they will do the work. The
So
same with relationships and marriages and things like that. I don't want to get off here, but I'm gonna say this and I'll get back on topic. If if a woman has a leader, a man who leads in every
every
way,
situation, yeah,
man, man,
makes
that
thousands of
woman's
sense.
soul and heart will open like no words can describe. And
Yeah,
women want that. Women want that, and I think that plays a part in women being unhealthy, even from the. It starts. I'm gonna go there with daddy. It starts with her daddy and his daddy, the little boy's daddy as well. And I just think God's so interesting with that because women carry them for 9 months and they come out, but there's something about their father, their dad, that can change and does change their world, period. So I'll say that. We didn't touch on that, but men, get your shit together because you
absolutely.
were built to lead. You were created to lead. Women doesn't mean that we don't get to lead. I just think in different ways, in a different mindset. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that's one thing that has caused more emotional turmoil or unhealthiness than maybe anything in this world.
I can
The
agree with that.
absence of male leaders, not leading with what's in your pants, but what's here in your heart.
But the way to get to that, man, is finding the path to your forgiveness of yourself. I had to find that path to forgive myself for all that stuff. You have to find that path. It's there. It's on a different realm. It's there. But you have to do some work, man. You're gonna have to do some work. It's gonna take
Mhm.
some work. It's gonna take again discipline and consistency.
So we're going to add those to our list of things of about how to, um, as we work, yes, to come to a close. How I guess I'll say, well, not measure, but how to be better, how to get better at this thing. And
Exactly.
my first thing I'm going to say is you have to acknowledge that you need to get better.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge, take ownership of that. Sit in the seat of your soul. Write that letter from your childhood self to your adult self. Do whatever you want to do with it, you guys. But I'm telling you, writing is therapeutic. If you do not have a journal, if you do not journal, I'm telling you, you are prolonging your healing. Period.
Exactly.
Period.
Look like
There,
Flash got a couple of things. He got a
yeah,
couple of
slash has. So before we go in there, yeah, I've been putting them up here on the board. Let me make sure that I've gotten everybody here. Of course, we've said good evening to Slash, Nick. Thank you again. What's up? What's up? And thank you for trying the call again. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
appreciate you, Nick.
Um, I think I've put this on here, but Slash Mark says men are selective sharers because everything ain't for everybody. And I think we should all be
Amen
that
to
way.
that. Amen to that.
Yeah, I think we should all be that way. One person's solitude is another's lonely place. Perspective matters. Another's lonely place. That is true. Um, mm,
But yeah, I mean, I could agree with that and partially disagree with that. But I mean,
balance,
that's
balance,
balance. You have to create balance, and you have to
balance.
know where to get that solitude. Because sometimes you could be in a lonely place, and that's where the solitude actually rests.
Right? Because you guys, loneliness is a silent killer. Like I don't, and there are a lot of lonely people, and lonely people. There's some lonely people who are not alone.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing on that. I hate to harp on this, but I got to go there because I enjoy my solitude. I'm still in solitude all the time, even with the gym full of people. I'm in solitude. This is when you have the ultimate peace. I'm
Mhm,
in a gym full of people getting treatment. I'm talking about hundreds of people. I feel like I'm there by myself, not alone, but I am there alone,
mhm, mhm,
not alone. If you know what I mean,
mhm.
that's complete solitude for me. That's when you found true peace within yourself, where you could go to a place with 1,000 people and you comfortable with yourself.
That's why, on the flip side of that, it's so important to hear this. Um, there are people who are lonely but not alone.
Thank you. There's a
They are
difference.
lonely
Lonely
but
and
not
alone, two totally
you
different
know.
things.
And so again, you guys, it starts and it ends with you. So Mark has great point. Mark, great point. We're playing devil's advocate there. Um, let's see, the world we live in, some women will fight a man tooth and nail not to follow. Hmm.
That's true. It's another nugget. That's true.
Um,
Because some women can't even see that leader. Why? Because they're broken inside. Something in them needs to be fixed.
oh,
If you see a natural born leader and he got all his shit together and you still can't see him, guess what, ma'am? You are the problem.
but you
And
know
the
what?
weakest link.
A leader, a man with the characteristics and caliber that I'm speaking of, he's not going the one. It's not going to get to the point where the woman is fighting him tooth and nail.
I
I, I,
get
I I just don't think he is going to allow her. And when I say allow, I'm not saying like he's there saying you can, you cannot. I just think he's going to go find the woman, the soft woman that he's looking for, and not
I
one that
get
he
I
can
see
get
where you're going.
over.
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah, not that he can get over, but that just one that complements him
Gotcha.
and where he's going, and then vice versa. He compliments her and where she's going. I do agree, and I'm agreeing with something, and I'm putting words in your mouth. That whole thing is out of order. The it is like we're fighting each other, and um we're so torn from each other until that too, Mark, causes unhealthy emotions,
Absolutely.
emotional unhealthiness. So some of the things that we can do, you guys, and we're going to get ready to get out of here. Let me get. Of course, I'm going to go back to the meditating, but there's so many more things. The journaling, I think that's equally important.
I got to tell you
And
though,
yoga.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to. You know, that's my thing. That's my thing. That's been my thing for years. Meditation, and then me adding yoga on top of that meditation. I'm in orbit. I'm in a whole different orbit. That meditation, 5:15 every single morning. I've been doing that for a ton of years. Meditation is going to center you, man. It's going to center you, but you have to be truly in tune with yourself to really get that true meditation in
Right.
and know exactly who you're speaking with when you're in that meditation.
Right. And you guys, please, please, please do these. Don't come here. If you listen to this live or if you do it afterwards, please don't do it in vain. Like,
No,
try some of these things that we are putting out there. Listen to this, like, I did this show last week. We did this show together. I've listened at least 4 times, and it may be more, but I've listened. So try the journaling. If not all the things we're mentioning here, pick one for you. Meditation, and meditation does not mean you have to, you sitting there in your whatever. It could be a walk. It
exactly.
could be a walk. It could be, for me, sometimes, you guys, when I went through that season where I was just alone for a long time. And I say alone, there will be days. I'll give you 2 examples. One of my neighbors came over and she was like, I'm just checking because I have not seen you come in or out. Are you okay? And I had literally been at my house for an entire week. Like, I was good though, you guys. I was good. I was reading, I was meditating, I was praying, I was crying. I was doing all those things. I was changing my life,
You were cleansing.
cleansing. And then there would be times where those walls would feel like they were coming in. And no joke, I would get a book and go to Sonic, because Sonic you can order and you can sit right there. And I'm telling you, I didn't need a lot. It's just I needed to get out. I needed the air. Whatever works for you, but you need to know where you are so that you can figure out what works for you and what does not. You have to get there. Breathing. Release the breath to your comfortability. As you release, imagine, feel, and vision the releasing of the breath. What's in it? Breathing in and breathing out will add a few years to your life. I'll say a day. I feel like you will feel better. So imagine, breathe in, breathe out, yoga, meditation, walks. And then this one here, let me tell you, learn to say what you mean and mean what you say.
And stand on it.
Be okay with it. And there's a way to do it. There's a time to do it, but sometimes it just has to get ugly. I'm just gonna put it up like when you had your situation last week about the
Oh yeah,
dog. Like,
yeah.
I
Oh,
I took that as no. There's a time where we just got to get real. We just got to get real, because people in this season, in this day and time, if you're an emotional wreck, people will walk all over you
that's right.
and come back
Absolutely.
and run over you. Period. Period. So say what you mean and mean what you say. There's a quote: between what is said but not meant and what is meant but not said, relationships are lost. Between what is said but not meant and what is meant but not said, relationships are lost. We're more comfortable saying the things we don't mean.
And I think we have to, stress and reiterate that we're not just talking about romantic relationships. We're
Oh, no,
talking about
no, no, no. Right,
relationships as a
right.
whole. We're talking about relationships with yourself, relationship with your friends, relationship with your family members, all that. All that matters.
Right, because great point. Because um if you're this way with these people and this way with these people and this way at home, who are you?
Exactly.
Who are you? Like that's confusing. How will you be able to be emotionally healthy if you are a different person everywhere you go?
Exactly.
Everywhere you go. Church,
I
I'm
call that
different. Work, I'm
you
different.
you know what I call that? Living a superficial life. Superficial when you
Yeah.
live in a superficial life and have your rose-colored glasses on and you can't see shit.
Right, right. So I have another one. Be unapologetically you. And
Absolutely.
this doesn't mean that you need to stay this way, because the you that you're unapologetically are is the you that you may need to do the work on. But until such time, you have to be unapologetically you so that you will know what's not working, what doesn't fit. You have to try the shoes on to know if they fit. So try your life on yourself. Don't be a people pleaser. Please don't try to please people who don't know how to please themselves. Please don't.
Absolutely.
Please don't. Please don't. Um, gosh, anymore. Get the journal, meditation, exercise. Um, be brutally honest with yourself. Be brutally honest with yourself about where you are right now and how you feel. So
Exactly.
often we don't.
Another one I want to stress is that exercise. I work out 3 days a week, and then I find myself working out at the house the 2 days when I'm resting. Like I found myself in bed earlier doing yoga, and
Mm.
I yoga on Thursdays, but if I just wanted to do a little yoga and settle myself down and whatnot, but that's the most freeing thing, man. Open your body up, exercise, and clean eating. Clean eating equals healthy mind.
And see, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That is, I feel when I conquer that, that is the most difficult thing for me to let my fried chicken go and my. I don't do pork chops so often, maybe because they've started to give me a headache when I do because I've gone so long. I go so long in between time. But the eating part for me is the most difficult when and I'm doing better, but I'm not where I want to be. By
Again, discipline and consistency.
I don't hear that. Disciplined, consistent, fried chicken. Who wins?
That's funny. That's funny.
I'm just being honest. That's one of my strongholds there, and I feel like when I get the discipline and the consistency under control, it's I just feel it's I'm gonna be on another level of myself that man, y'all gonna need glasses when I walk in the room.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Uh oh.
So we got some more comments. Let's see. I think I got slashes. Hi, Miss Marilyn. We got one from Miss Marilyn. Miss Marilyn, I need you to move that trash can. If you have not, I'm gonna pick you, and I want you to um,
Good stuff, Miss
tell me
Marilyn.
about it. So she says, "Thank you, Tammy and co-host. I love your broadcast, and thank you for
Stuff.
just tuning in and supporting us. And we love you too. I actually need to talk to you. I need you to do my hair, actually.
Good stuff.
So, um, what else? Let's see. Did I miss anything? Because I made a few notes. Um, anything from you, Trent, while I
Nah,
look
just
over
getting
this?
to the solution of yourself, man. Getting to the solution. The solution is you. The solution is yourself.
Yeah.
Again, the solution is you. The solution is yourself. This is how you control your emotion. This is how you have healthy conversation. This is how you create healthy traits. Let's not talk about toxic trait. Oh, that's my toxic trait. Nah, let's normalize healthy traits. But the
There,
solution is getting over the hump of yourself.
you brought up healthy traits last week too. There is something you just reminded me. The wheelchair, and this will be the last one for me. Um, so we had the one of our listeners. I don't think I have that, but one of our listeners shared a um, hmm,
Personal story. I was kind of
very
surprised.
personal story with us, and it left a mark. on my heart, feelings. It hit a nerve. Um, and I was thinking about the wheelchair that we talked about, you can't be
Yeah.
upset with someone who's in a wheelchair and cannot walk.
Yeah.
I wanted to come back on that because I get that, you guys. I get it. But I was having a conversation with someone about that, about the comments and about, what one of our listeners put on, that very personal story from our listeners. If you want to hear that, go back and look in the comments. You'll be able to see it or listen to the show. Um, I feel like I need to revisit that because there's a difference in someone being in a wheelchair who has been diagnosed, um, and prescribed. Let me say that the wheelchair, like this is your truth. But for those people who write their own prescription, who go get the wheelchair, sit in it, but your ass can walk. I can't keep going. I can't do that. I can't do that. And that's what I was thinking about that. I'm telling you, I've listened to this show so much because I kept getting stuff. But if you wrote your own prescription and put yourself in a wheelchair, but you can walk, because this came about with we have to give people grace.
Yeah.
And we do, but I cannot cripple people because my aiding in crippling you when you're not crippled cripples me.
Right.
And so I had to come back. I'm glad you said that. I had to come back with that. And if that sounds harsh, I'm sorry, but you'll
That's
thank
real
me
talk.
later. You'll
That's
thank me
that's
later.
what B2G Unity TV is about. Straight real talk.
Right. You'll thank me later. But if you put yourself in there, I'm sorry. I can help you get out, but I'm not gonna sit there with you and
That
act like
triggered
I think you cannot walk.
that triggered a thought for me. When you said wheelchair, I said, "Oh, here she go with that." But when I was prescribed the wheelchair, when I was told that I would need the wheelchair for the rest of my life, I would need that walker for the rest of my life. I looked at that doctor that went in one end out the other because I had no interest in that wheelchair. I had
Mhm.
no interest in that walker. I didn't even have no interest in the cane. None of that stuff. So I'm like, he can't be. He got to be prescribed that for somebody else. That's not for me. I mean, I had to, because that's the only way I could get out of the hospital and head home and whatnot, with the wheelchair. And I had to get accustomed to this wheelchair, but I never got accustomed to that lifestyle. I did
Mm.
not want the wheelchair. And you could actually turn that around and flip that to where it's like, man, when you want to change,
You know what? No, I just flipped it around with don't your emotions will write you a prescription that will put you in a wheelchair. If
yeah,
you don't get control, bringing it back to the topic, your emotions will be your prescription to the wheelchair. If you don't go around it, you don't stop it at a light, and that goes back, we can sum it up with take every thought captive, every thought, and measure it according to your life. But if you keep measuring it according to somebody else's life, what happened to you in the past, who you're mad at, who you haven't forgiven,
right,
who should be doing this, who should be doing this for you, to you. If you keep doing that, baby, you ain't gonna never get the
exactly.
dinner done cooked. You're never gonna come to yourself. That's the cooking. You coming to yourself and becoming one. You're gonna be always preparing, measuring, adding this, adding that. No, bake the cake. Like eat the cake, Annie Mae, right? Bake
Exactly.
it. Bake it.
Uh-oh.
Eat
Slash
it.
is saying something to you, something
What
about
is Slash saying? I don't see a comment from Slash.
you don't
Oh
see that
wait,
kind of
wait,
thing?
wait, wait, wait. It didn't show up as a new one. So here we go. So y'all aren't gonna read my whole last comment. Also, discipline is a lifelong journey. Which one? Who did? Which one, Slash?
Discipline is a lifelong journey slash, but you have to start somewhere. And as long once you get into that stride, man, and
I think
you start
Slash is
taking those
talking
strides,
about this one. I think he thinks that we tried to get around this one, but we
which
read it.
one?
That's his last one. The
Oh
about the
yeah,
world we
yeah,
live in. Some women will fight a man tooth and nail. Is that the one you're talking about, Slash?
yeah. He probably want us to go
Secretly
look at
wanting to follow or lead another woman. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we did that one. We read
it. Yeah,
it.
we addressed that. You
Yeah,
probably was on your break Slash.
yeah, we did read it. We didn't. We're not going to let you go. We want to keep all your comments coming because you
But
feed us.
discipline, I agree that discipline is a lifelong journey, but you have to be consistent within that discipline and
I'm gonna
stay
go with
consistent.
Slash. It's a lifelong journey.
It's a lifelong journey, but once you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah.
It becomes easy once you, if you're constantly and consistently disciplined, it becomes very easy. It's not a journey anymore. It becomes easy. It becomes a lifestyle. Speaking from experience, Slash,
Easier, not easy.
easier, easier, easier.
Yeah.
It
Cause
becomes a lifestyle,
it depends. It depends.
and it depends on the mindset.
Okay.
You got to have the right mindset.
Well, I guess I have a fried chicken mindset.
The question is, here's the question. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay.
Depends on the mindset. You know, if you're gonna be disciplined and consistent, depends on the mindset. But the question is, what type of animal will you wake up in the morning?
Hmm.
You got to wake up a different animal each morning to do the
So,
stuff that you're talking about, to implement the stuff that you're speaking of, getting over yourself, controlling your emotions.
okay.
You got to be a different animal, man. Every morning, wake up as a gorilla. Next morning, wake up as a lion. To deal with this type of world, this type of climate, we're in desolate times. So the stuff that you're talking about, journaling, somebody has to be very disciplined to journal. Like I had when you told me you need to go back and read that book, a book that I authored. I had to discipline myself to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to read this book again.
Which was interesting, you guys, because I he did not give me any pushback, but the old Trent, the one that I could not stand, he would have been. I don't need to read my. I wrote the book. I don't need to read it. What? And you may have had a little pushback, but he read it, and it's interesting because he did write it. Like he wrote the book, but here I am telling you, go back and read the book. Why? Just kind of like what I said earlier. Write that letter, your childhood letter to yourself. Like I needed him to see himself in that phase of his life, in his childhood life. I needed him to read it as Trent the man, not the author.
I get it. I
The
got it. Oh, I got it. That's it.
So, okay, so let's take this last comment. And I asked you to make sure I just did 1 hour, and here we go. So, but we are an hour and almost 30 minutes into this. Some folks can quit something cold turkey. Others, it's a day by day learning. That fried yard bird is a habit. Well,
That's true. That's true.
that fried yard bird is my habit and hot wings. I'm telling y'all. Whew.
That is hilarious.
So, all right. Well, I hope we have given you something to take some takeaways. If you did not listen to part one, please, 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 please go back and listen to it. Um, Move your trash can. I'm going to ask everybody that hears that, please move it. If you don't want to share it with us live, send us a private message. We don't have to give your name. We'll just tell your experience of it.
And you guys could
Um,
also fill a form out over on b2gunitytv.com.
yeah.
Go straight to her. She'll get it.
Thank you for
All
remembering
that
that.
good stuff.
Yeah. And if you're interested in taking the assessment, I
Yep.
can offer a free mini assessment. Beyond that, I only give free when God truly leads. When I won't say truly, when God leads me to do so now. But I can offer the free mini, and then you can decide if it's enough for you to move forward in paying to
What's
get
free?
all of it. If you're interested in being an introducer, meaning now to be the introducer, you do have to take the assessment and do, get one and do it and see what it does for you, because how else would you introduce it to someone and let you know that it has worked for you? um, Being an introducer is a way to make extra money for yourself. So if you want to hear about that, hey, send me a message, and we'll take it from there. So I
Oh,
think,
before I forget,
I
I was watching
no, I think I did it all.
I was watching the numbers earlier today. Welcome Ireland. We'd like to welcome Ireland. Saw you guys in there today, as well as Egypt. I announced it on conversation page. I mean on the conversation side of the network, but I want to announce it over here as well. So welcome Ireland, Egypt, and I think Africa was in there as well. So good stuff, man. A couple of viewers coming in. They following in. Really appreciate the support. See you guys coming in. So you
Yeah.
guys following in one by one, but we see you guys. I just want to make sure that we acknowledge everybody. So
Mm.
good stuff.
Yeah.
So the
And y'all,
newest
we're
era
on
is
simmer.
tomorrow.
We're on simmer. We got some good things coming. If I could just sit myself down long enough to birth these babies. I've been pregnant a long time. So
Good stuff. Good stuff.
so we have some great things coming. I thought about the game
I was
that we,
telling you that.
man, we
And the
just,
only reason I haven't mentioned it because you told me you was gonna kill me if I did.
yeah. So,
But I'm
but
telling you, that's gonna be a hot one. It's gonna be a real hot
yeah, yeah. So you guys stay with us. Pray for us. Pray for this
one. Absolutely.
this network, this legacy that we're trying to build. Like, um, my hope one day is our children are working together on this thing. Like they be like, my dad and, my your mom put so much into it. We should do this, we should do that. So pray for us. Pray for us. Pray for what we're doing. Pray for our habits. Pray for our emotional healthiness. Oh, if you're a prayer, please call us out. Call us out. Um, I don't know if we will be on next Tuesday. I know the following Tuesday I will be out of town. I'm going on vacation. I'm going on a 7-day vacation, and I will be off the grid. So I don't know about next week. I may try to get in and do one more fun one, lighten it up a little bit. So anything from you before we bring it to a close? Thank you guys. Thank you.
Conversation with Trent and friends tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with Coach D and myself. We'll be getting in it as usual. Straight talk, no chaser. Some straight gumbo talk.
What's your
7
topic
p.m.
tomorrow?
Not sure. Not sure. You know how I go with me. I turn the mic on and go. So we'll see what
Okay.
happens.
All right. And that's another thing, you guys, if you have some topic suggestions, things you want us to talk about, send it to us. Send it to us. If you want to come in and share some things with us, I'm waking the What's Your Story up. I have some people scheduled for the What's Your Story in the author's corner. So if you know an author, please send them our way. If you know someone that just has a story, if you have a story, we all have a story. So if you want to share your story, let me say that.
Come get
Please,
some of this
please.
viewership, man. We reach
Right.
our reach is very, very broad. It's very wide range reach internationally in the States as well. So come get some of this reach.
Right. Share the show. Share the broadcast or the episodes, podcasts, whatever it is you call it. Share them on your page if you feel okay about doing that. We are trying to just get out there. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mark. Because you always just you're in like playing. So thank you. To all of our listeners, especially those who commented, Nick, Marilyn, I hope you heard me that I need you. So please call me tomorrow if you can. Um, who else? I think that's it.
Good stuff.
All right, you guys be great. We love you all. Thank you for sharing this space and this place with us tonight. Be great.